Hello, everyone. So, we are back to our podcast, World Without Borders. So, today we are going to talk about our projects for 2025. And here I am with my friends Megan and Susie. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thanks, Renata. Hi, Suzy. Hi, everyone listening in. My name is Megan, and I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa. And I'm a multi passionate entrepreneur. I'm an advocate for global literacy, and I'm so happy to be with you for episode 11, guys.
Hello,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you. Susie.
Hello, guys. Thank you, Renata. Thank you, Megan. It's such a pleasure to have you again and again as host in this episode. My name is Suzy. I am more based into agriculture and technology, and my main aim is to empower youth and women in agriculture and technology. And we're going to talk about it more today.
Yeah, and I'm Renata Anderson. So, I am originally from Brazil, but I live in Portland, Oregon. And today I am a life coach and I work with the planetary health. And yeah, that's a little bit about that. so let's start with Megan and with her projects for 2025. So, what do you have in mind? What do you have already planned for this year?
Wow, Renata, there's lots going on in 2025, and I think the last 4 years have been building into this space for me. I was telling Susie off air a bit earlier that I've got some launches that have already taken place this year. We've had two launches for one of our literacy projects, our global literacy projects. So we had our soft launches earlier in January. And I've actually got some US based partners and some local partners flying into Cape Town in March. We are um, meeting for the first time in some of us 3 or 4 years that we've been working together. So that's a big one for me this year. And we'll be launching our collab here in Cape Town. And then a couple of other really exciting projects. So I finally registered my youth academy late last year. So
Oh,
it's official. The Y collab is in existence, and that is the start of me splitting my core business, the marketing and writing based business, into a youth academy space and a marketing space. So as I sit here, I am busy splitting up the companies and getting all the compliance in place for the youth space. And I've got multiple projects that are launching this year, including Footsteps to Brilliance, a literacy app with our very own Jackie Zakoli, and lots of exciting stuff happening in the first half of this year, guys. Lots more to come, but let's leave it there for the moment.
okay, awesome. Congratulations. So, a
Thank
lot of
you.
exciting projects coming.
I'm seeing it.
Nice. So,
Great.
Susie, tell me about yours. I know you have a bunch of ideas. So, yeah, let's try to, to tell us all.
Thank you for allow me to share. But the first thing I decide this year is stop thinking about random project. I put a stop to those because it was like you have this project, you implement, you leave it, you implement, you leave it. I don't want that. So I named my year first of all the year of zero excuses and fruitfulness. So I had to start from somewhere. So I decide this year to I want to share my knowledge in leadership. I've done a lot of conference training on that, but this time I was like, why not go further and impact more people? Why not put it in a book? So I was initially going to write a book. Last year I planned to write a book that will launch this January, which will not happen. But I plan to have a book that was about my life because a lot of people don't know about me. They just think like she's young, lucky, being where she is. All God just bless her. She's just lucky. And sorry, but there's nothing as luck. So I just wanted to like share about the journey and here, but that book's not come out, which will come out very much later. But I have this book on leadership that I'm writing that will be launching on the 2nd of February. So it's very soon, guys. And it's called Seed to Summit. So you have to read it and you will learn, you will know more about what I'm talking about. Also, this year we have I turned to have a different approach in leadership. So other different from the other years where I had a whole plan for the year and I was like, oh, this is what the leaders should do, this is what the leaders should go, this is where they have to go. I decided to go on the leaders bring ideas and we choose and establish. So it's not more focused or oriented on me. It's oriented on my leaders, which are amazing. They're doing already amazing. We already have an office in Sierra Leone and in Congo, and we have land and all this through their help. So I changed my aspect of like leadership this year, and that's what I'm going on with. And in Anchor, I suppose a lot is happen. A lot of things that are happening. We are opening our new online, our first online shop. We are building new website for Anchor. That's supposed to really portray our activities. Job wise, I have to work, so we still have a job. And I'm planning to open new businesses this year that will bring in more money because we need money to do a lot of things, guys. And also some
Yes.
paperwork to be able to establish more partnership around the world. So that's what we're working on this year.
Wow, so exciting. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to read your book and know more about your life, your journey, as you said, and your tips for leadership because I think it's time for women to take this lead and no, it's our time.
Yes,
Yes.
So it's so important to bring those skills, no, and see and tell others that it's possible.
it
So
is.
it is possible, and we need that, you know. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes.
I always joke like the guys don't want to carry the piano by themselves. So they need our help. You know, the piano is heavy. Like,
yes. And
I
I really try to
cannot
make
play.
yeah, I really try to make the book a little bit funny because I don't like when things are very serious. So while you're reading is very relatable, you can relate to your daily life. Most as my daily life, you can relate, and you can say, okay, if she did it at her age, I can do more. You can do more, no matter your age, no matter where you are, no matter where you're starting. Even if you have $0, even if you don't have food to eat in your house, it starts from somewhere, guys, and it's all a mindset. So that is what I wrote in my book.
I
So
love
Awesome.
that. I love that. Yeah. Start where you are from. Yeah, yeah, anything is good. So yeah, well, I have some projects too going on and some to continue. I'm very excited about that. I'm very happy with being a life coach. I work with leaders and executives too, and yeah, as we said, we cannot lead others without leading ourselves. So people say, oh, but I'm not in a leadership position. Come on, you have to lead first yourself. So it's always important skills to learn, you know. And it doesn't matter if you have a team to lead or not. It's for life, no, I think this kind of skills, and
Yes.
that's really important. And also, I cannot wait to come back to the Planetary Health Coalition because the idea was to bring awareness on people that are dealing with challenges facing by climate change and the loss of biodiversity. So, how our landscape and our lives are changing so fast. And it's funny because like it's funny, not funny, but um and I don't believe there's a coincidence either, but like 4 weeks before the fires started in LA, I spoke with a friend of mine who came to visit me. I was like, I was thinking about having some meetings in my place about how can we plan for disasters. And I say, do you think it's crazy? Do you think people will come if I invite them? And I say, oh, I think it's going to be great, you know, if we start to do that. Because as an academic that I have my PhD in disaster management, I was like, oh, we know how important is preparedness and how
Yes.
prepared are we, you know, if something happened, how do we help our neighbors, because we know also from the literature that the first help comes from our neighbors. And do we have a good relationship with them? Do we know our neighbors? Do we know who are in need, and what to do in different kind of disasters? So, and I started to talk with people from yoga, from different places that I go often, and they say, I want to come to this meeting, I want to come. I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is interesting. So yeah, I think
Nice.
I'm going to start these meetings because um, I want to build resilience in the community. So that was the idea about the planetary house. Without awareness, we cannot even start to talk about resilience. So we have to know what is
Yeah.
going on, our threats, our risks, and know what to do in different situations. So that's
Yeah.
the new thing for me about
Amazing.
2025. The other ones is just continue the projects I already started in 2024.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I saw a couple of your posts, Renata, about the disaster management, and I thought that's interesting. That's pretty cool that you're actually stepping into that space. I saw a few posts first, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, that's an interesting addition to what you're already doing. So I love the fact that you've gone there and that you're getting
yeah,
so much support.
yeah. Because it's hard when something is going on. It's hard to educate people. We need to do that before things
Exactly.
get crazy, and we never know what can happen. And I think in different areas we have different risks. So how can we be
Yes.
we are going to be prepared, because we can one fact that I think is coming clear for more people is we cannot wait everything from the government.
Mhm.
So, what can we do as a civil society to build resilience? And I think
Yes.
this is an important question. And we are just going to be resilient if we are together.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's a
love that.
nice point. Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So this is my new stuff for 2025. Uh,
That's so cool.
yeah, yeah. So Susie, I was really curious about this book. So tell me a little bit more because I still want to know more about that.
So, thank you for asking. The book is about Seed to Summit, how a smallest beginnings shape extraordinary leaders. So, I just like literally take a metaphor of a mango tree and just walk you through each step of that greatness. Things doesn't just happen. Things never just happen, guys. Even if you think it's luck doesn't exist. Somebody made this happen. If you're paying your rent, it's because somebody actually gave you the money, but the person had to work for the money. Maybe you have to do so. There's always an ignite, there's always something you have to do. So and the book starts with that seed that you have in your hand, where to plant it, how to plant it, and how to be even prepared before planting it. And so we go through those various stages with you. We follow the stage of the mango tree from the beginning, from the little seeds you have when you want to eat the mango, that little seed you have. How do you plant it? When you plant it under the ground, a lot of things happen beneath the ground. We go through certain steps that you can actually apply as a leader. It's those different steps that builds you up to become that person that you can now go to society and belong, because you don't just belong to society. I'm sorry, some people don't have money, but it says if you put me in the rich people class, I'm gonna blend. You're not gonna blend. Sorry. It's definitely visible that you're coming from a place that don't have money. So that mindset of working on putting in your head that a lot of things is about my mindset. How can I walk through it to that level? And nobody is special, nobody is born rich. There's some people that are literally born rich, but you have the ability or the possibility to come at that level, and it's just some steps. So personally, I take advice a lot from what I wrote, and I was like, okay, I have to become good at it. There's certain things I have to put in practice more, and those little things that just make you become that leader for others. But first of all, it starts with you. And yeah, that's what the book is about.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love that. I love.
Yeah.
So, Megan, how are you going to challenge yourself 2025 if you are not challenged enough? Because I know you are already doing a lot of stuff. So, what comes new? New. Yeah.
Uh, my quick answer to that, Renata, would have been I'll complete my list of projects on my whiteboard, and that will be the challenge for the year. But for me, the space that's I think the biggest and newest space for me, although it comes from last year, is really immersing myself in the YEA global space, especially in the youth aspect. So I think you might know that late last year I stepped in and facilitated some of the youth program
So
with
just a
cattle.
second. Can you explain for the audience what is IEA for people that never heard about that?
Sure, no problem. So YEA is the Young Entrepreneurs Alliance. It's a global organization founded by our own Carol Witt, and it's basically an impact organization based and started in the US, but with a huge heart for Africa, and it runs in multiple countries. I think last count we were up to 57 countries
Oh, wow.
um, that the program reaches. And so late last year, I started getting involved with the youth aspect because youth is one of my key focus areas in my space. And I had the opportunity to facilitate part of the youth program that was running since October last year. Into January this year. So I did a few of those sessions just as I started as an observer and I ended up doing a few sessions of training myself. And next or this year holds even more of that for me. So I'm going to be facilitating in the May program now on the youth side of things. And I think for me, that's the exciting part. I've also stepped into, with Suzy, I've stepped into the global leadership program with YEA. So that started this month. So we are in training at the moment. And yeah, I think for me, the big challenge is going to be to keep everything moving at the pace it needs to be moving while I onboard these additional organizations and spaces and projects into my world. That's definitely going to be it.
So you said 57 countries. So how does it add to the youth from those countries? So what do
So,
they learn from that?
so the program that we do with the youth, or that we've just done, and the one that runs in May again, is based on Carol Witt's Thrive concept. And there are 7 pillars to thriving and living a thriving life. And it's basically teaching the youth, as well as there's an adult program that runs parallel to it as well. But we teach mindset as the key pillar, and it goes around ways to create a world of thriving or space of thriving in your world. So there are different pillars that we look at, like creativity and visualization, etc. And we give the youth a very practical way of being able to distinguish when they're limited in their mindset or when they are growth minded, and able to onboard positivity and growth, etc. in this space. And it's an exciting program because it opens them up to the possibilities. It gives them that hope that there's definitely more out there. So that's what was exciting for me. And just being able to see, I mean, the 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, just their minds just opening up. It's amazing to be a part of that process. And that's what makes me tick. So I think that is where the program is really, really key in the process that Carol's created, because it starts with the younger generation, and it starts with the individual, right? Even
Mhm.
the leadership aspect that you spoke about earlier, Renata, where you have to be able to lead yourself before you can lead others. It starts with you. And I think if we can get more kids into this youth space and thinking along those lines, we'll have more fortified individuals and youth coming into that stream that we're trying to create globally, as an organization. So it's really exciting.
So, do you have any example of the youth that you can share with us? Like, oh, this kid was like this, and suddenly, they
Well, yeah, I don't even know where to start, Renata.
yeah.
There's a 12-year-old in the program who's co-authoring a book with Carol at the moment.
He's writing a
She's
book.
she's writing a chapter and co-authoring in Carol's book. She's 12
Oh,
years old,
oh,
and
amazing.
she's just one of the brightest kids, right? She's just like this. She goes fires on all cylinders. There's another young boy who lives in the US, or sorry, the UK, and he wants to be a football star, and he wants a YouTube channel, and he's just like, he just thinks so differently, and I love people who think differently. I absolutely adore that, because that's where my brain sits. And this child doesn't miss anything. He's just brilliant in the way that he puts thoughts together. And for me, it's just so inspiring being in that space with these young kids that can run and participate in a mastermind at 12 years old, at
Oh,
13 years old, and they're happy to lead the space as well, which is fantastic. So
Amazing.
there's lots of that going on.
Really.
yeah, yeah. I think this generation have so many possibilities because I don't know how was it for you, but for me, I was raised in a very formal education where everything was outside of us. Like you need a job, you need
Yes,
a diploma, you need, this. The achievement was all outside. So
external.
nobody taught me how to look inside me and how to grow inside first.
Yes,
And I think this generation, they have a chance that we didn't. Like with 12 years old, okay, you can do whatever you want. And who are you, first?
yes,
That should be the first question. So what would you love? Because I say today with my coaching program, I have clients that they are in the year 50s, and I was like, okay, if comes the fairy tale of the jobs and come to you, like, what kind of question are you going to ask? So, I don't know what I'm going to ask for a fairy tale job. I was like,
yeah,
oh, you don't know, what would you love? No, I don't know. But I know one thing. I know I hate my job. I was like, okay, this is
it's
the
a good
beginning.
start. It's a good start.
That's a good start, but it's surprising me when I see people in their 50s, 60s,
Yeah,
and they say, I don't know what I love, and I don't know what I want. If a fairy tale of the job come, I was like, I don't know what I ask.
I
Because
yeah,
I think
I
that
can think about
sometimes
job just to pay bills, and it's it can be more than that.
I think
absolutely.
sometimes, on that point of view, I think I do agree that it can be more than that, but sometimes the circumstances of life makes us things so different. So
Hmm.
sometimes when I go towards people, most of the time that have that mindset of I need to work, I hate my job, I don't like what I'm doing. I was like, always look at this as a starting point, as a place that leads you to greater. So when you start having that mindset of okay, I have my job and my work. I always tell people I do have my job and my work. My job pays my bills and my work builds my future. So we
Yeah,
have that space of like in the day I am in my job. I offer what I can offer to my job. At night I'm in my work.
Yeah.
I offer what I can offer to my work. That means I have that space where I'm working on projects, working on other things that I'm actually passionate about. When I'm doing that, that makes me not to lose the track of who I am with
Yeah.
my
Yes.
job. But
Absolutely.
there is that extra effort and extra step we need to make.
But
Yes.
Susie, you do that because you know what are you looking for. Some people they don't. And
Mm.
that's, how it's difficult because if you don't know who you are, what are you looking for?
I want to come on that. You said then I know what I want. At the beginning, I did not. Guys, it's all a try and error. I tried a lot.
Yes.
There's nothing I didn't try. I was like,
Yes.
okay, let me do business. Let me go sell sweets. It didn't work. It didn't work. So the more I tried, the more I didn't work. I was like, okay, close this chapter. No, you can never do this. This is not for you. You definitely know.
Yes.
But I actually give myself a try. I allow myself to fail. And so people
Right.
are like, oh, I'm getting too old. I can't allow myself to fail. If you don't try, then
Yeah.
oh,
No,
you just have to
I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. Yeah, it's
add
important.
it.
And it's
Yeah.
important to notice, notice, we say always in the program, notice what you're noticing
Yes.
because, how do you feel about this job? How do you feel about doing that
Mm.
for 5 years, for 10 years? If it's like you feel contracted, like, "Oh, I would hate to do that for 10 years." Like, so it's like a lamp that starts like, okay, don't quit your job, but you have to start looking for
Yeah.
other things, like that maybe can make you happier and still pay your bills.
Yeah.
No, so I think this is a good way to put it, but
Yes.
I think this generation is special, maybe because they have a lot of pressure.
There's
No,
also something I want to add, Renat. I don't want to cut you, but I want to add something. People think that once you find a thing that makes you happy, it wouldn't be hard to do it. That's a big error. The worst thing is when you find something you actually like, you become slave to that thing. You think you are working 8 hour shift. We are talking about a whole 24 hours. That means you're so focused on. I remember some days where you're so focused on your work when you time off. Okay, I'm taking my Saturday. Saturday, I don't have to do my job. But you're so focused on your work that see, I just logged in 16 hours straight in my work.
Yeah.
16 hours straight and I still have the energy to keep going. But because you still that effort, you still have to put it in. And when it's something you like, it is easier to put in the effort, but the effort is still required. So if you think that
Yeah.
you're working too much now with your job, you're not doing anything. Once your work would come, you work triple shift, just pack them up like this, and then you
Just
notice
like
that a
that.
boss never sleeps.
I love that.
yeah.
But you know what, Renata, I agree with you in the sense that this generation is special. But I think one thing that landed for me while you and Susie were chatting a moment ago is the fact that I think the one thing that a lot of people in their 50s today, like our generation, didn't have was somebody standing behind them going, there are other possibilities, right? And people that are so focused on passion and purpose and exploring your vision
Mhm.
and yourself and allowing the time and the energy for them to do that. I mean, to some degree, I had that, and I count myself lucky for that. But my parents didn't have that. They needed to work to survive,
Yeah.
bottom line, So
Mm.
I'm just privileged to be able to be a part of this process where this whole transition is happening and to be a part of everything that's going on in that space. I'm excited for that.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think that's great. And this is it for the moment. So we finish our podcast today here. And I want to ask people to subscribe and write, if you have an idea of something that you want us to discuss, please write in the comments. That's going to add us be more in line what you guys expect from us to talk about. And that's it. So see you next episode. So thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
Megan. Thank you, Suzy. And thank you all. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
We're crossing oceans, crossing skies, lifting each other as we rise. No more limits, no more walls. Together we answer the world's calls. World without borders, we are free, telling the stories of humanity. No more divide, we stand as one. Together, together, our journey's begun.